Hello and welcome to the Boost Over Ball podcast, your go-to source for all things Rocket League, with your hosts, K-Cube, Quilly, and Red. So lean forward, lock in, and get ready to go Boost Over Ball.
This might be the most on time we've been in a while. We're actually live before 8. What a time to be alive.
Wow.
Look at us go.
We must be responsible.
We got to use our window of red that we have.
Yeah, this is true.
Busy day for me. Busy day.
Reaching.
Okay. Well, it is a busy day for Red. We've got some scrims and matches and stuff today for rematch, but here we are. Hello and welcome back to the Boost Over Ball podcast. To listeners new and old, hello and welcome to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Kyle, K-Cube, joined in the top right by Red, and in the bottom by Quilly with the brand new hat. And looks like a new foot jersey, I think, maybe?
I mean, we've had this for a little minute. We've had this for a hot minute, but I think I wore it when we initially got it. Shout out our boy. I don't know what I'm allowed to say. But anytime I did say before the show I was gonna wear my Shopify jersey, but it smelled like I wore it. I'm not sitting in my stank, I just so we're rocking the second best showing this past weekend in NA.
Fair enough. And then it looks like a new camera bag in the back. Is that what I see? Red?
Mm-hmm. We got a camera. We got a nice little camera bag, some lenses.
Adding to the arsenal.
That's what happens when you're left at home alone for a week. You start buying stuff.
Hell yeah.
An unsupervised adult with adult money.
Mm-hmm.
And gamer hours.
Yes.
But we got a packed show today. We're kicking things off with the opening rounds of Open number 5 for SAM, APAC, and EU, while we will also go back and recap the final results from OCE, SSA, MENA, and North America to see who came out on top in their respective regionals. We got a lot to talk about, and I know we have quite a few talking points about NA specifically, which we'll save for the very end of this. But you guys ready to jump right in with SAM?
Yes, sir. Let's get after it.
So, making the top 16 through the double Swiss out of Group A is Secret, Furia, Big Odes, Nova Legion, Sangres, No Fear, Mocket, Apes. And then from Group B, we have MIBR, BS Plus Competition, Dream Esports, Nova Drift, 25 Shot Club, Inosis Esports, Zero Esforzo FC2, and 21909120. So, it seems to be Furia and MIBR, then a Gap, then Secret and BS Plus Competition. Do you guys have any thoughts on that? Do you guys kind of agree with what I'm saying on that, or where do we stand?
Yeah, I mean, it's right now. It's definitely, especially coming out of Boston. It's MIBR, Furia. Those are the two that are going to kind of lead the way. Team Secret starting to see a bit of a falling off when it comes to like this points. I think this will probably continue. It seems like they go 3-0 in the group, but they don't really play anyone of note. Or then again, it is SAM, and all the only teams of note are like the first 4. So definitely keep an eye on, because as we've seen and we'll talk about, Open 5 has already been pretty freaking wacky. So who knows? We could see someone like BS Plus Competition go out and get a dub for SAM. We'll see.
So, current point standings, Furia in first place with 18, MIBR with 12 points in second place, and then Secret and Nova Drift, or Secret and BS Plus Competition tied for third with 8. So realistically, in my eyes, those are your 4 teams that that are on Major Watch. These are just the Paris Major rankings. We have not even begun to look at point stuff for the World Championships yet, but BS Plus Competition and Team Secret currently sitting 4 points out of that last spot, trailing MIBR. However, based on the way that things have been looking, I kind of think that they're going to be on the same they're going to meet in the grand finals again, but we will have to wait and see. Anything else anyone wants to talk about for Sam before we continue jumping around to APAC?
BS Plus, I'd just give them a quick shout out. Obviously, we've talked about them being the 4th team. They are definitely the stepchilds of the redheaded stepchild of the winning teams in this region. But, they did go 2 round 5s, but to still go 3-0 is pretty good and pretty awesome to see for KV1, because his last literally 12 months has been a big old whirlwind. So all the power to them. So hopefully they surprise, because they are clearly not too far out on points.
This is what his third roster in 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
Went from Furia to Secret to BS Plus competition now.
Sounds right.
Did that? I think that's what it is. But then moving across to APAC, our teams making the top 16 from Group A are Kinotrope, TSM, Godspeed, Four Guys, RHHS, Bear Claw Gaming, High Risk, Low Reward, and Big Dogs. And from Group B, we have North Star, 86, Three Rats, Dream Station, Jungle Juicers, Last Night's Leftovers, Nagatomo Ninjas, and Bad Men. So really the talking points coming out of APAC for this region are, can TSM regain? Have they been, kind of lapped or passed or caught up to by the rest of the field? They're currently sitting tied for third with Dream Station. They're sitting 10 points out of a spot to Kinotrope, so they're going to need to regain here if they want any kind of chance of making Paris and solidifying their spot for the World Championships. But Quilly, what are your thoughts on TSM and the rest of the region?
TSM 3-0 as they should. Kinotrope Gaming is, I think they won the last Open, right?
Yep, they beat North Star.
Yeah, so they're coming. They're still rolling clearly, but I think it's like more of that APAC is just like a much more niche version of the same, where it's not 4 teams, it's 2 teams, maybe 3, arguably still just 1 in TSM. But the points are close. That's the luxury for these other teams of the resets between splits is that everyone's reset on points and it's everyone's game. And Kinotrope is so far taking it and running with it with this opportunity. So we'll see if anyone can dethrone TSM. But they still got 2 more Opens to try it.
Fair. Brett, anything you wanna add on that?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, right? You're going to look for TSM to bounce back. Last split, they did end up losing semis to North Star Gaming, which is the roster of Lunar, Taha, and Pengoli, 2 Americans and a Australian. Definitely interesting to see how they perform this time around, because I imagine they will probably face each other again in the semis, either North Star or TSM, or whatever other team there is for APAC in that regard. It'll be interesting to see the bracket shapes out. I think that'll kind of help determine as well what we're going to see, because it would help TSM quite a lot is if they can face Kinotrope in a semi and knock them out right then and there, and then go on to win the whole thing. That immediately takes away that 10-point deficit you have and makes it 0, because it is a 10-point difference from winning it and third and fourth. So they made it clear that the second split is going to be a lot more point values, and it shows.
A win is worth 3 more points than it was previously. So everything to play for. And, even if you aren't able to take out Kinotrope early, if you play them in the grand finals, making sure you solidify that win and stacking as many points as possible is going to help, especially for, these 1-team regions, especially with the World Championship, looming in the distance, right? And so we'll talk about OCE here in a minute, but now that Open 5 is finished for them, we have a lot of clinching scenarios and situations that we can talk about for the Paris Major. Hey Harmonic. But moving over into EU. Our teams making the top 16 from Group A are Gentle Mates, Vitality, KDOP Corp, Carmine Corps, GK, Toad in the Hole. This is the former Inner Circle roster who released their roster after Open 4, which I don't fully understand, but hey, we continue. PCS Stride, Era Esports, and from Group B we have Man City, WIP Esports, Ninjas in Pajamas, Gritty Goose, Caligaras, Magnifico, GHT, and Synergy, with some notable misses being Novo and Team BSK. So first and foremost, they did not make it. They are not a notable miss in my opinion, but Young Money Clan is officially back in ROCS. We talked about it a little bit last week, but Motion is back on Young Money Clan. He's revived the team, so to speak, after their escapades in SSA and their subsequent year ban. We talked about that a little bit before, but the Toad in the Hole also has, but I have to note that. Sorry, I don't know where I want to go with that, but kind of the more important aspects of this are General Mates are able to take down Carmine Corps in 5 in round 3. WIP is able to take down NIP in Swiss, and Vitality go 9-0 perfect through Swiss. So the big questions for me is Vitality back? Are Gentle Mates back after an open off? Are we going to see the same kind of great run that we saw from Synergy last time? Where does this leave us for a top EU team?
Did Vitality ever leave? They won the last open without breaking a sweat, and they're probably going to do the same thing again this open.
Well, they left for since the last time since the last time Zen was in Boston, since they won Worlds that year.
I'm sorry, I'm confused. We're talking about Team Vitality, right?
Yes. They won, and then they didn't win for a long stretch of time, even though they still have Zen.
Oh, okay. You meant more so in the ability to win a major?
Yes.
Then?
Yes.
Okay.
I
thought you meant just
consistent,
in general.
Top Team Vitality. Are they back?
Okay.
Because we've seen this from Vitality before, right? Doing well in
I
Swiss.
Thought more so, in my opinion, they didn't really leave. It's just the competition around them got better. And I think now Vitality is starting to make their climb above that competition and really kind of show their stuff. Zen's starting to look like old Zen for sure. He's starting to get that confidence back and just show his ability to 1v3 and be everywhere on the pitch. I watched a little bit of the stream, and they just trounced GK. It was rough, and it's okay, GK's this is your EU 4 or 5 seed, and Vitality just beat them like it was a top 32 team. So very scary. Glad to see Mates starting to hopefully get some pace back. They did end up losing their first round to GHT, which didn't even make. Yeah.
Mates
sorry, no, I'll get Open 4. Look at Open 4. Apologies, Open 4.
Yeah, Mates were able to beat ABS. They swept ABS. They swept KDOP Corp, and then they beat Carmine in 5.
Yes. So, beating Carmine 5, huge for Mates. Glad to see them hopefully back in form, but I'm going to hold my breath until this group stage is done because that was a heck of a valley for Mates to fall into after winning the Boston Major. So, glad to see them hopefully back. Also, I do want to talk a bit about Novo Esports. I feel like this is a team that should be doing so much better than they actually are. This is their second time going to round 5 this split. Last split they make round 5 and they barely scrape by, beating at the time Scald Esports, losing to Man City and Carmine. So not the easiest of Swiss stages last split, but then they don't make it out of the group stage, going 0-2 out. You don't even make it into the group stage this time around. So I feel like that's a roster we're going to see a change very soon.
I think they have to.
I was going to say, I don't even think there's any changes that could fix them. Losing their best player in Nico, I think it really just shot them in the foot, and they're kind of just standing there watching it bleed. I think Nico was kind of the thing that kept that train going. Obviously, last year known as the prodigy, the next up. I don't know if he's taken that step yet, but he's definitely one of the more promising, and definitely out of the 3 they have now, he's definitely better than all 3 of them. I could say confidently. I think maybe a Chronic, maybe Juke gives him a little bit of a fight in that, but I still think Nico's the best out of all of them, and I think losing him was not ideal for them.
Speaking of another younger or maybe, slightly less known player. I'm trying to see if they're, younger player, 15. Hungarian Bibaba.
Mm-hmm.
He showed, in my opinion, very well in his first Open in RLCS. At least first time making the main broadcast. Playing alongside Toxin Raziers, that roster looked good, I thought. But also Open 4 as a whole was a little bit of a shit show for EU, just in terms of everybody, and things seem to not be changing that much, right? WIP going 3-0, and then kind of, at least in my opinion, a little bit lopsided groups with Mates, Vitality, Carmine, and GK all in Group A. Magnifico's a team that, you mentioned has Nico, that they should, be good. Synergy has, certainly has the players that have been there, done that, right? We see HAG and Dorito alongside Rixie. But, really I think that Magnifico roster, it's Atomic, Nico, and Yujin, should be personally better than at least they've showed. Era Esports has the return of Sizen back to the main event. So definitely a lot to play for, but realistically, it still doesn't really change my opinions. Do we have a bona fide number 1 seed in EU right now?
I think Vitality. If there's anyone to argue for, it would be Vitality, in my opinion. So they're just operating on a different wavelength, especially from the LAN. Obviously, they didn't win it compared to the other team in EU in Gentlemates, but then the momentum they carried as compared to Gentlemates, who bowed out ungodly early last Open. And we'll see if they bounce back from that. But yeah, Vitality through the whole thing has looked consistent and great.
I agree. I think there are some question marks that are being raised by this Carmine Core roster right now, because nothing's, this isn't a Carmine Core that made a ton of changes, right? It's Fatira, Juicy, Atao. Like, this is a team that we should be expecting to play very well, but they continue just to show some chinks in the armor. They're really this isn't the immortal Carmine Core that of yore. No, this is the Carmine Core that, okay, these guys do make mistakes. They do have bad days. They do play, not the best sometimes. And it's been interesting to watch because, they're losing in 5 to Mates. They're losing in 7 to NIP last split. It's very interesting to see what's happening at Carmine Core right now.
I don't want to make the comparison because I am not the world's biggest First Killer fan, but I kind of see some parallels between Shopify and maybe less Shopify, more just like FKLJ, right? FKLJ, Vatira, Atao, right? They're 2 extremely talented duos. They're both very mechanically sound. Vatira may be one of the best players in the world. First Killer, has certainly had that argument made about him at points during his tenure in RLCS. But FKLJ in a third, Vatira, Atao in a third, and regionally they're always around the top. They're always sniffing around. Most certainly, no one in the Open era has had the same type of dominance and staying power that Carmine Core has. I think so. We talked about it. Quilly mentioned it last week that EU Open number 4 was the first grand finals that hasn't featured Carmine Core in Europe since like 2022, 2023, something like that. It's been a long time, years since Carmine Core hasn't made a grand final. So like that level of dominance is insane and is not similar to FKLJ in that instance, but man, we have not seen Vatira and Atao perform very well at a LAN. Vatira hasn't won a LAN, I believe, since spring when it was in San Diego. In 2020, is that 2023? I think.
Back when he was on FaZe.
Yeah, when First Killer was on FaZe and Vatira beat them with Carmine Core. So, I mean, it's been a minute for him. He's still done it. He's still been able to compete at a high level, but looking at the full season points now, not just the Paris Major points, because they have not finished their Open number 5 yet. Currently tied for first is Gentlemates with 52 and Vitality with 52. In second place, but really third place since the two are tied for first, we have Carmine, 9 points adrift. Then Ninjas in Pajamas with 33, Man City Esports rounding out that top 5 spot with 20, then GK with 12, and Gritty Goose with 10, then Novo and Toad in the Hole with 8, with Novo with 9, Toad in the Hole with 8, and KDOP Corp with 7. And then Synergy and Cloud Esport at 6. Getting a little bit further away from being able to qualify for Worlds in that aspect. But, I mean, man, Carmine Corps has slipped out of that number 1 seed for seemingly the first time in years from EU. So I feel like I have to bring up that question, right? It still very well could be them, right? They could Mateer could flip the switch and they could go back to winning. But Vitality has looked incredibly dominant, especially in the last Open. So I thought I'd bring the question forward. So now, in my opinion, time for some fun here. OCE. So our teams making the top 8 through the upper bracket are Power, the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, Wild Card, and 8. And through the lower bracket, we have Take Flight, You Not a Champ, You a Clown, No Car Esport, and Nerve. And then into the top 4, we have Wild Card taking down Power in Game 7 to win that series 4-3. We have the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs taking down Nerve in 5. And in the grand finals, we have the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs taking down Wild Card 4-2 in 6 games. So it's a big win for Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. Whoever wins Open 6 goes to Paris. Straight up. Simple as that.
Yeah, this race is not just coming down to the wire, but it's going to be cinema. So if you are any chance you could be up at 3 a.m. to watch this, I'd recommend it because it is going to be cinema.
Yeah. And the reason we say that who wins it takes it all is there is between Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, Power, and Wildcard, there is a 2-point gap.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter what place you get as long as you place higher than the other two, because there's a 3-point difference between each team.
Yeah. So
or between each position. So
thanks to Pyro, we have some world scenarios here too, and I think this is interesting because they are so close. Because only one team goes, the scenarios are crazy. If Power wins, they're in. They're into Paris. They're into Worlds. Done, dusted. That's it. Win and you're done. If Wildcard beat Power in the finals, Wildcard needs a top 12 in Paris to make Worlds. If they make top 16, then there's a tiebreaker between Power and Wildcard. That would be great. What?
No, everyone doesn't make 16, right?
Nope, because of
third.
Yeah. But if Wildcard beat a team not named Power in the finals, Wildcard go to Paris, Wildcard go to Worlds. If Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs beat Power in the finals, they need a top 12 in Paris to go to Worlds. If Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs beat anyone not named Wildcard or Power, Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs goes to Paris and Worlds. So if one of these teams, if a Wildcard or Canterbury Bankstown win in the finals against none of these 3 named teams, they qualify for Paris and Worlds. That's crazy.
That lets know Canterbury Bankstown Bulldog, they can play Wildcard in the finals and still make it to, and they would make it to Worlds. It's just anyone else but Power that they would want to play because of the points. So
yes,
we could see some wild stuff. We could also see some friendly fire in the region when it comes to Paris, where I think we could have a good portion of the OCE fan base cheering against their own OCE brethren for Worlds, which is always a fun time. I think when we were watching these last couple of the last point grab before Worlds,
it's truly a crazy scenario, and I feel like it's either going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be just an absolute shootout, Game 7 overtime, or somebody's just going to sweep their way through. Like, I feel like there's no in between. Like, it's not going to be like a 4-2 series. It's going to be like 4-0 or 3-4. But
this is going to be awesome. Wildcard, Have they? I think they won one Open this entire time.
I'd have to go back to Boston. Hang on. Boston, Oceania.
I think Power won 2, Wildcard won the second one, so only one, and I think that's.
Yep.
Who won?
Wildcard only won one. Power won Open 1. Wildcard won Open 2, and the Canterbury Bulldogs won Open 3.
Who won Open 4?
Power.
Open 4 was Power.
So it's 2 for Power, 2 for
Canterbury.
CB Bull. CB Bulldogs.
The BBC. I mean the CBB. Yeah, this is such a close race. It's going to be insane to see who pulls off this legacy run, or maybe the easiest cakewalk. Maybe somehow Wildcard gets bounced early. Maybe Canterbury gets bounced early. Maybe even Power gets bounced early. I think this bracket is only built to be cinema, and if it's anything disappointing, it's a goddamn shame, because the way this is shaped up it looks like there's only one way, and it's going to be awesome.
No. I have a quick question about this Oceania region.
Yep.
Say we don't see Wildcard at Paris, we don't see them at Worlds. Do we see retirement?
From all of them, or just the Banana?
Someone. It could be Banana, it could be Torsos, who I think is one of the oldest Rocket League pro players currently.
He's 26.
He is 25 currently.
25.
Do we if Wildcard they didn't make Boston, if they don't make Paris, they don't make Worlds.
He's not going out like that. He's coming back, but their roster mania to high hell.
I think there's a good chance they blow it up and they change the roster.
Oh, I mean, they probably blow it up, but
I think they snipe. I think they snipe a Fiber or a Super Locky off of Power.
I think there's a good chance that none of the
Kaka.
OCE teams are the same next season.
Yeah.
That seems to be the way of it.
With the way Canterbury's showing out, I think they're obviously also going to be some hot free agents to be looking at.
I see Canterbury getting blown up because all three of them are going to get split up into different rosters because they're good. You know, we could see like a Hunter go to Power, or a Caleb or Kaka go to Wildcard, something along those lines. And then we'll get the leftovers with the new Canterbury Bulldogs.
I mean, as we see, it really worked out for Sam because those teams look really good on land, don't they?
I mean, I feel bad saying it, but it's almost like rearranging chairs on the deck chairs on the Titanic here. Like, it's always the same 9, 10, 11 players that are just. I mean, Hunter's been on Power before. They've all been on the teams before. Like, it's like, you know, what combination of rosters haven't we tried yet that's going to give us the best results? But they're all talented players. They're all, you know, good teams. They've all showed out before. We've seen them do crazy things. I mean, I think back to, you know, Pioneers taking down a First Killer led team, or both OCE teams taking down First Killer in Dickies the last time we were there. So maybe that's foreshadowing because we might be going back again. Also, how do they not announce anything? Like,
dude.
Are you really surprised? Do you remember how long it took them to announce previous events last time?
We were doing so good. They had Paris before the season started.
They laid off 80% of the staff.
Not at
Blast.
Blast.
They can't even give a server up. I don't even think they know where it is.
Not at Blast.
They got goddamn little Timmy over there in marketing going, what the hell do I do?
Poor Timmy.
Blast is running the esport. I don't know what you're talking about.
I have no idea what happened that they didn't announce jack shit or fuck all. I think something we are literally 5 months. We're less than 5 months away.
We know a date and we know a region.
We don't even know a region. They haven't confirmed it yet.
Okay. Well, they haven't confirmed it. We have a speculation.
Yeah.
Do we have dates?
Even in that assumption. Even in that assumption, the US is really big.
Wait, I need to know the dates. I bought tickets for a music festival in September.
I'll tell you.
15th through the 20th, I think.
No.
Oh, it's not. It's not in Wikipedia.
Wait, what? Yes, it is.
Okay, wait. Okay, so they don't have the play-in or group stage like the.
No, they just have the
start date is September 15th. End date is September 20th.
Well, I just bought a festival ticket for no reason.
They'll go up in price. You could sell it. It's fine.
Dang it, dude! I wanted to see the freaking Offspring so bad, dude.
Yeah, maybe it's going back to Paris. Who the fuck knows?
Maybe he's coming to New Jersey. Maybe he lucks out and I can manage to hit
yeah.
both somehow.
We're definitely going to New Jersey. Yeah.
Yo, bring back the potential. Come on. Yo, imagine we go double northeast.
Hey, at least there
Does
won't
New
be
Jersey
a
count as
blizzard.
northeast?
Hey,
At
don't
least
you
there won't
dare
be a
say
blizzard.
that. Don't you dare say that. It might happen.
No, in September, everything is broken.
Okay. Moving across to SSA, our teams making the top 8 through the upper bracket are Bro Crow Crows, Five Fears, Pioneers, and Astronic Esports. Through the lower bracket, we have Death Cloud Esports, Rounds, Team E1, and Synthesis. Our top 4 is Pioneers take down Bro Crow Crows 4-1, Five Fears take down Rounds 4-2, and Five Fears again take home their second regional win of the split, beating Pioneers 4-0. Five Fears now has a stranglehold on SSA. A top 4 secures them Paris and the World Championships.
Did you know that they're also a shit team?
I was going to mention that. If you didn't.
What happened?
So
It feels like I have to go straight to it. Just a straight up shit team, dude.
So Lawler on his stream, who is the coach of Pioneers, said, "I can't believe we lost to this shit team again. A shit team is going to Paris and Worlds."
Shit team
On stream,
swept them, by
right?
the way.
That's crazy.
And he clarified it. He tweeted about it afterwards.
I think he responded to Five Fears because Five Fears tweeted the clip straight up.
Yeah, they tweeted at him. It was actually really fun.
Five Fears and their legacy run of a social media team this whole season.
Yeah.
Who genuinely don't care about anything, not even their own team. They will shit on their own team the whole way through, which is insane. So yeah, the fact that they were just ballsy enough, they just straight up tweeted and said, "Guess we're a shit team." I think.
I can post the clip, from our social media. But Five Fears tweeted the clip and said, "Looks like the shit team is going to LAN again," with the skull emoji. And they didn't tag him or anything. And Lawler replied and said, "No excuses from me. The frustration is real. When playing our matches and it's a close 1-goal games and the lads keep seeing defeat, shit hurts. All the credit and respect in the world goes to Guns, Snowy, Tekaz, and Zebra. They've more than earned the spot." And Five Fears replied and said, with a gift that said, "I respect that." So, I mean, I can understand, right? Heat of the moment type thing, but that seems pretty...
on stream?
I know, dude. Come on. You gotta be better than that.
Well, you've been around, Laura. But, I mean, hey, at least there's one thing consistent with RLCS this season, and that's SSA. Props to SSA for not being fun and interesting at all.
So, yeah. I will say, I feel like Five Fears social media, they gotta be S tier.
They
just gotta.
Easily S tier.
I don't think there's a single social media brand that is as fun as them, purely just based off of how much they don't care what they say.
Mm-hmm.
They seem like the fact that they're an org is crazy because it seems like they have no oversight. It seems like no one's stopping them at all.
There's no corporate guy going, "All right, this is a bad idea."
To be fair, sometimes I feel like Ant doesn't have a lot of oversight for the RLCS Twitter account, but he puts out some bangers. Nobody beats Vitality 12 times in a row. He's it finally made it out of the drafts.
I will say honorable mention to Shopify milking the hell out of CJ's reactions and heart rate.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime they're playing, that's been up there. That's been up there lately. That's been pretty fun.
Yeah. I think,
also, props to CJ for milking CJ's reactions to Shopify.
Yeah, that too.
No, CJ's the go. CJ is genuinely a top 3 all-time character of RLCS players and casters.
I teared up when he retired. I was like, "No, man."
Yeah, I was like, that was money. I was like, damn.
I think it was the best thing for his career, though. I think he's way better.
Absolutely.
Eon's better in the booth just because of how bubbly and personable he is.
I don't know, driving the car onto the LAN stage, I wish they would bring back crazy entrances like that. That was so good. Because they all signed the car and they auctioned it for charity.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wonder if well, now we're getting stuff like, what is it, the kickoff LAN picture of him standing in front of the board staring at the Shopify logo before his after match. I can't remember, but yeah, no, CJ, just a tangent to CJ. CJ's just the goat of the scene. I think he's a one-of-one character.
He is indeed. So, moving along because we got a lot to talk about for NA. Let's move over to MENA. Our team is making the top 8 through the upper bracket. Our R8.
About an altar fire.
No kidding. R8 Esports, DOS, Falcons, and Twisted Minds. And through the lower brackets, we have Rafa, Esports, Everything, Stallions, and Sleeping. In our top 4 in the semifinals, we have Twisted Minds taking down DOS 4-2, and R8 Esports taking down Falcons in 7. R8 Esports taking down Falcons in 7. And Twisted Minds then sweep R8 4-0 in the grand finals. So before we start talking about it, we have to look at the rankings. We have to talk about the £2 billion elephant in the room. And that is the fact that Falcons currently sit 10 points adrift of a major spot for Paris. Falcons sit 10 points out of a spot. They're not even in third. They're in fourth behind Stallions.
And the only person that seems like they can knock out to make it is Twisted Minds.
Yeah. Like with how these points work, I mean, like you have to win it, duh. Like you need to win this next open. Like there is no exception. And even then, you can win it and still not make Paris. Which, if you would have told me Falcons was not gonna make a major this season, I would have called you insane and would have called some help for you. Because what?
So
and where's Oof when you need him? We need him crashing out in chat.
Yeah, I was like, poor Oof. Poor Oof.
A open number 6 win for Falcons puts them on 34 points. R8 is
breathes and they get 4 points.
R8 is at 30. It's what, 4 points for a top 8?
Top 8 is 4 points. So all R8 has to do is just
a top 4 confirms it for him. But an upper bracket qualification guarantees them a Paris major spot.
Yep.
Twisted Minds, top 4 also secures them their spot. So, moving then over to the whole rankings, Falcons still sit atop of MENA with 70 points. Close behind in second place, we have Twisted Minds with 63. And following behind that, we have R8 Esports with 45, who I would like to mention, after Boston Open number 1, they had a 7-point deduction for an unsanctioned roster change. They could have been at 52 points. They could have been 11 points out of a major spot, but instead, they sit 18 back.
Of a world spot, you mean?
Of a world spot.
Yeah.
Yep. Did I say major spot? I meant world spot.
Yeah.
Good catch. Thank you.
Who was the move? Was it Abdullah or was it someone else?
It says ROC Esports lose 7 points due to an unauthorized roster change. Abdullah.
I mean, he's worth the 7 points.
No.
To say he was on ROC last season, so it makes sense that he's still
date 131313. Abdullah Ghazi joined on January 3rd. Who's the other one? Twiz. Twiz.
Is it? They got rid of Twiz?
Yes.
Yeah,
for M7MD?
Yup.
Good old Mawson.
I mean, it's worked out for him. It was worth it.
Certainly has.
Yeah, doing some quick maths, right? Just say Falcons, they don't pull it through, they don't get lucky, and they don't make Paris, right? We'll predict, same result, right? A RA top 2 and a Team Falcons top 4, right? So that there gets you, what was the point differential there? I was just looking at it. Hang on.
It puts Falcons on 78.
It puts Falcons on 78, and R8, assuming they get a top 2, would put them
12, 57.
57. So Falcons would realistically, they would still be safe for Worlds. They wouldn't have to worry about anything because the most that
Twisted take over the number 1 MENA spot.
They would most likely Twisted would most likely take over number 1 Mina spot, barring any sort of crash out in the Swiss stage or not Swiss group stage for Twisted at Paris. But R8, they would have to do what would essentially be the impossible. I feel like for them, and go and essentially win Paris.
You have to outperform Twisted.
You have to outperform Twisted or just win. Because there's also the scenario where Twisted and R8 do insane for Mina, and you could see Team Falcons not make worlds off of something crazy. That'd be fun. It'd be chaos. I'd love it.
Absolute pandemonium.
Did you imagine Falcons going through LCQ?
Oh God.
That's terrifying for whoever will play them in Worlds.
Okay, let's think of it this way. Even if Falcons Twisted secure Worlds, imagine R8 through LCQ right now. That's scary. There is also going to be some poor SSA 2-seed, APAC 2-seed team that's going to get just obliterated.
Who are we kidding? Who? They're going to annihilate NA5. That's where we're at. But
is that going to be the same? Is it going to be I wonder what the match or what the setup's going to be with groups and whatnot.
But, who knows? They'll probably announce it whenever they announce where Worlds is.
I think they're going to announce the week before to try and mitigate Dickie's. It's going to be September 10th.
I still just really
September 11th. A third Dickie's is hit the tower.
Oh no! I still also really just don't understand this Twisted Minds team.
Yeah, I agree.
They swept Falcons in upper quarters, and then they go to 6 with DOS, and they almost lose to Rafa in groups. It's what's happening? They looked incredible against Falcons, but in Open 4 they looked terrible against Falcons. I think they got swept by Falcons. So we were talking to Oof in the Discord, and it's highest ceiling, lowest floor.
You've officially taken the title away from last year's SSG. Congrats.
They're either the best team in the world, or it's Monkey Moon, and he's fully reclined in his chair, and they're losing.
Monkey Moon fully reclined.
He's horizontal.
The hole through the monitor. One of the two.
Yeah. Whatever. What a crazy region. And that's not even as crazy as some of the things we've seen this season. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Congrats, R8. See you in Paris.
Yeah,
that would be crazy to see.
I won't see you in Paris, but we will see you online in Paris.
Online in Paris.
See you on the computer monitor.
Yes, sir.
But moving over to our last region, last but not least, NA. Our teams making the top 8 through the upper bracket, we have Virtus Pro, Space Station Gaming, Shopify Rebellion, and Foot. Through the lower bracket, we have NRG, Strictly Business, Dignitas, and Gen G. Moving through to our top 4, we have Foot taking down NRG in 5 with the gentleman's sweep. We have Space Station Gaming losing to Shopify in 6. And in the grand finals, we have Shopify Rebellion sweeping Foot 4-0 to get the win. So...
Suck it, first killers the gun.
Don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. You know that's a lie.
Hey.
So we'll talk about groups, or we'll talk about playoffs in a second here. We got to talk about groups first. I think the biggest shock from groups is NRG getting reverse swept it's not quite a reverse sweep. They're up 2-1 and lost 2 straight to Virtus Pro to go down in 5. Game 4, a 4-minute overtime, and Game 5, an 8-minute and 30-second overtime. Rough way for NRG to drop to lowers. Red, what did you think?
I mean, you'll hear me talk about hit on it later. Teams are starting to figure out something with NRG, and it involves defense. If you can build the biggest and strongest wall known to man and just withstand the NRG pressure, you will probably get a goal. And that's what VP showed, and that's what Foot showed, is just stand tall, have your team average 8 to 10 saves a game, but you're going to win a 1-2 goal game because NRG is going to overcommit on some 3-man play, and you're going to get a free counterattack into a goal. you're essentially, just it's an interesting, defense wins championships type style, but it's something that NRG is currently struggling with, and I think NA is starting to catch on to.
I mean, to build off your point here, Foot built the wall and they made NRG pay for it. I hate myself for making that joke, but here we are. So
Beautiful wall.
one of the we talked about it. We were talking about it in the Discord, and it's a really good question to ask, right? And it's more rhetorical now than not. But like, is NA depth better, or is NRG just slumping? Right? And like that's we've heard, oh, this is the most depth NA has ever had, and then we showed up to Boston, and that was not the case. They did not look that good.
Yeah, we said it in Raleigh. Shout out to Raleigh. Oh, looked like shit. One team made it out of Swizz.
So is it really NA depth, or is it just we compare everyone to NRG, and for whatever reason domestically, NRG doesn't look as dominant as we know that they can be?
I think this overall competition is definitely getting better. It's hard. You can't say it isn't. I mean, versus SSG picking up Zach has boosted that team monumentally. Foot with the veteran roster they have now has figured out what works for them, and it's doing wonders. Shopify are doing Shopify things. I don't really care about them too much until the major when it actually matters.
When they'll vanish them again.
Genji, I think they're the one that isn't really fitting the norm right now. There's still like a really big question mark on like what's going on over there. Definitely a big bounce back here to make top 6 after not making it out of groups last open, but it's still, I think, some question marks there. I did want to jump back real quick. I wanted to just look to talk the saves part. I just pulled up the stats for their series on Saturday and Sunday. Right, so NRG versus Virtus Pro in that group stage matchup where they lost in 5. Virtus Pro finished the series with 38 saves. Their series against Next to New, which went to 5 as well in the lower stage of the group, Next to New finished with 30 saves.
Yeah, that was a reverse sweep from NRG.
And that was a reverse sweep.
Gentlemen sweep or reverse sweep?
Reverse.
It was a reverse sweep. And
then went to 5 in a best of 5.
And then now, their 2 series Sunday against Strictly Business and VP, like they figured it out. Like they figured out what to do against VP. They finally broke the defense. But Foot, same thing. Pull up the stats. Foot Esports finished the 5-game series with 27 saves. Like, apparently the strat, if you want to beat the reigning world champion and arguably number 1 team in NA up until about recently, is just to save everything. Like, that's insane. Like what?
We talked about it again in our chat on Discord, but we made some comparisons to the Falcons team, the Twins and TRK Falcons team of 2 years ago, where the big knock against them was they get too impatient. They go all out for a goal when they didn't need to go all out, right? They send the third on a risky challenge or a risky 50 when there's 2 minutes left and they didn't need a goal, and they concede an easy one, right? And that's what loses them the big games, right? So if NRG doesn't get that early lead, it kind of destroy their game plan? Are they too impatient on offense? Like these are 2 of the bigger questions in my eyes about NRG moving forward. But then you also think about, right, if we the schmucks can see that, then what does Sathu see? What are they trying to change? What are they workshopping or lab? What are they in the lab with for Open 6? When quite frankly, they control their own destiny, right? They win and they're in and they secure everything. But, there's also something to be said in my eyes about NRG did not have a good weekend. Like, I never once thought that they looked incredible, and they found a way to win,
to make top 4.
They handled Gen G. That was an easy one, right? But they didn't look comfortable against Next to New. They didn't look comfortable against Strictly Business. I thought that they kind of gritted out a win against Virtus Pro. They never looked like they were, running away with it by any means. So, like, they were not playing well, and they still found a way to make top 4. So it bodes well for them.
You ready for this OCE question to come back? If NRG doesn't win any lands, do you think any of them retire?
Retire? No,
No.
absolutely not. Not
I feel like
retire.
Atomic and Beast might have been doing this for so long at this point.
Atomic is still arguably like in some of the best form he's ever been. Like, I won't take away. Like, I don't think it's that these energy players are performing individually poorly. I think it truly is come down to the style of their team right now, and they just need to, get in that lab with Sathu, figure out what they need to change. Whether it's truly embrace the old, as they would like to call it, insults of their squad, saying that they're a very defensive team, and go into that defensive style, allow teams to take the shots on you, and just sit there and rack up the defense, and then strike with the counterattack. Or, as we kind of saw against VP especially, really embrace the demo game. Turn into Prime Kofor. Turn into that OG SSG roster where they can't save everything if they're not actually on the field. So I'm excited to see what style we see out of them in Open 6. I'm just excited to see it's pretty, barring some crazy results, the top 4 for NA is kind of secure. They all have their destinies in their own hands. They, like, as long as they all just do what they have been doing the last 2 splits, our top 4 for NA is secure. It's more so just what seeds do they get, because as we've seen from previous major seedings, your seed can mean it can mean a difference from you playing against 5 years or Carbine Core, Vitality, Twisted Minds. So this could mean a lot. There is a world we could see NRG in that group of death to make it even more of a group of death. There is some crazy stuff we could see happen coming out of NA, and I am so excited for it.
You guys ready for my favorite fact of the day?
Always.
First Killer and NRG have the same amount of open wins this season. Give me here for him. Give me here for the FK. Give me here for the kid. Let's put the slander to rest. Clearly, he's on the same page as NRG.
How many world championships does First Killer have?
All right, well, we're living in the past. This is 2026, so I don't know what 2020. Clearly, it doesn't. That's not helping NRG. Clearly, NRG's not doing anything.
How many majors does First Killer have?
1.
How many majors does
First Killer has none.
I don't know what we're counting as majors. Have only been a thing for so long now, since the open era. Then majors start in. Because obviously, what was that? What are the old things called that they used to have them? Game something.
Oh, you're talking about DreamHack?
Gamers 8. Gamers 8 didn't count as majors.
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
It's still a Gamers 8 is still a land that First Killer hasn't won.
He said major though. He didn't say land.
I did say major.
Twice in one.
I did say major.
Technically, First Killer has 2 land wins.
What?
Open 1 kickoff land. I'm counting it.
Oh,
I'm counting, baby.
Where's the second one?
The one he won with FaZe. Didn't he win one with FaZe?
No, they lost.
No,
to
that was
Army.
the backboard loss. Did we forget that one?
Yeah, he missed the ball in the backboard. I was there.
I was there as well.
It must be nice. I hope you enjoyed it.
His only land win is the mini kickoff land. And even then,
more land wins than NRG's got this season. Can I get a hell yeah? Can I get a hell yeah? Oh wait, NRG wasn't even there because they got bounced top 32. Can I get a hell yeah? Can I get a hell yeah? And
hey, Quilly. Hey, Quilly.
What's up?
I do have one question for you though. When did the kickoff land happen?
We're counting the 2026 season, all right? There's NBA seasons that start in this season, and it's that season.
So technically, NRG has won a world championship in the same year that First Killer has won a regional.
I've clarified this season every time.
You
not
said
this year.
There's a reason he's saying season. There's a reason
I've clarified the season, not the year.
Yeah, like what in the ESPN cherry pick stat, has hit 35 free throws on every Tuesday of the month of March.
When it rains. Don't forget when it rains.
When Morgan Freeman is sitting in row 4, C12.
Yeah, no, but to reiterate, Shopify currently tied atop NA with 26 points. They're tied with Space Station Gaming in third, technically tied for third place, but tied for second place. We have Foot and NRG at 20 points, 6 points behind. Strictly Business sits 10 points behind NRG, Gen G with 8, Virtus Pro with 8, 1 with 6, Dignitas with 6, M80 with 6, Next to New with 6, and then the rest of the region behind them. So realistically speaking, a top 4 of the 4 that we've seen will secure all of their places for Paris. Once we get into the full rankings, that's where things get a little bit more difficult as Foot are 20 points behind Virtus Pro for that 4th spot. NRG still sits atop the full season rankings, then Shopify with 65, Space Station with 49, and Virtus Pro with 40. Gen G currently sits 21 points adrift of that last spot. So, realistically speaking, Gen G is a LCQ team, maybe, but
Probably.
it's going to depend on what happens in my eyes with Foot.
I feel like we have a better chance of Rise going back to EU for. Can he somehow find his way out of this Gen G contract? I feel like he's doing LCQ through EU because this Gen G tenure has been a goddamn nightmare, and that's being generous to it.
I'm curious of the story with Foot right now. That's a team like they had to start back at 0. They lost all their Boston major points, and they are in position to make Paris. And if you do decently at Paris, you can take that world spot from VP.
They might jump the shark.
That would be insane. Like
you get 5 points for showing up.
Yeah,
I think everyone that was in the decision, if they make worlds through their lane performance, assuming they make lane, obviously,
if they make worlds as the NA 1 through 4 and not a LCQ team.
Yeah, I think whoever made that decision deserves the biggest pay raise of all time.
Oh, absolutely.
Whoever made the Justin Chronic pickup deserves the most insane pay raise.
And we made an episode about it. Justin was not the problem. Justin really, really wasn't the problem. He looks amazing. So, if you're looking for storylines for Open number 6 for NA, you got to watch where Foot places, because if it's a top 4, they're going to Paris. And if they make a top 4 and they put up, 8 points, they're sitting 12 points out of a playoff. If they make another grand finals, they're 8 points out of a world spot. And Chronic has been there, done that, and won a LAN. Justin has been there, done that, won a world championship. And we've seen what Cheese can do when he's on. That could be a scary LAN team with all that veteran presence on there. So certainly a lot to watch for there. We'll have to watch to see what NRG and Space Station and Shopify can do as well, to see who will kind of reach out and take that number 1 spot. Because regardless of what happens, I believe the winner of Open 6 will be your number 1 NA seed, no matter who it is of the top 4. Granted, if it's one of the top 4, it will be a tie.
It will be a tie, so it would go down to the tiebreaker, which is head-to-head, right? I think.
So NRG's got that. Over Shopify? Yeah.
This is correct. Yeah, they do have the tiebreaker over Shop.
But I believe Space Station has it over NRG.
Yeah, it's like Space Station has it over NRG. I think.
No, I think they're tied. It's regional wins. I think it's regional wins is the next tiebreaker.
I gotta find it. Hang on. Let me see. RLCS tiebreakers. Give me a sec.
Yep. Hold on, that's a good question.
Where there's usually a tiebreaker section. Where is it?
I don't see it on Wikipedia.
Hang on. RLCS 2026 tiebreaker roles. Oh, here we go. Group stage tiebreakers. Oh, it's group stage tiebreakers. I don't care about group stage tiebreakers.
Match record against for round robin group stages. Oh, so I'm looking at the same thing.
Yeah, it's like you saw the same thing. Where is it?
Where is it?
Yeah, we'll have to find it later. But I'm pretty sure it's head to head and not regional wins.
Unlike RLCS tiebreaker rules for seeding when points are tied are primarily prioritize the best overall result in a single event, followed by the most recent event result. If still tied, the team with the higher total goal differential in that event, or subsequently the highest overall MMR, will take the higher seed.
Okay, so it is best regional placement, which right now Shopify has a better regional placement.
Unless NRG if NRG wins, then they still have it because it's the most recent one, which would be Open 5, which Shopify took. I think.
Well, no, it would be Open 6 because we wouldn't make the tiebreaker like.
Oh, you're right. Yep, that'd be the. Yep. Okay. So,
hell yeah.
Realistically speaking, whoever wins of your group of your Paris major teams right now, which are NRG, Foot, Space Station, and Shopify, whoever wins is your NA1 seed.
Let's go Shop.
And whoever comes in second is your NA2, and then the other two will be behind them.
Another must watch Open. Gonna
Yes.
be super. You're gonna get that 3 a.m. stream from OC.
You're just not gonna sleep.
Leading into our sick ass NA Open.
And then directly into an EU qualifier for Open 6.
Boo EU, boo.
But that's a lot to talk about for NA. Is there anything else that you guys want to wrap up, or that you want to talk about of any of the regions that we've talked about before we do our Quilly question and then wrap up for today?
I'm all good.
Let's do it.
Okay, Quilly, you got one locked and loaded.
My quick update.
Oh, yep.
It's a shitty update. I'm at 6 badges now, as opposed to my 5 from last week. I only have 1 extra because, as we talked about adult money before, I bought a Switch 2. So now all my time has been dedicated to Mario Kart until 2 a.m. and Pokopia. I've only loosely started Pokopia, but mostly Mario Kart. But we're at 6 badges now, which means I think we're 2 away from getting to the Elite 4. Starting 6 is now consists of Charizard, level 49, Jolteon, level 34, Snorlax, level 32, Dodrio, level 35, Hitmonchan at level 29. New pickup. I went back and picked them up finally. And I do have a Lapras that I'm trying to level up, but I kind of hate Lapras. So it may be switched back to... Why can't I remember the big lizard name?
Gyarados?
Water Onyx.
Yeah.
Okay,
that may be the starting point.
So, who is your HM Pokemon? Because there's always one in your group.
Oh, damn. Every week we talk. It's Farfetch'd.
Yep.
It's Farfetch'd. It was... It was Pat... What's his name? Papyrus? Purpose? Whatever the little crab dude?
Paris.
It was him. Paris.
Oh, Paris. Not the crab, the bug.
He looks like a crab. I don't care. I'm dying on that hill. He's a crab. He should be a water type. That's not a bug.
Is he just straight bug, or he's bug?
He is a bug type. He's a bug grass type. But it was him back when I only had cut, but now I have fly, so it became Farfetch'd, so I can fly and cut on the fly. I do also have, well, now I have Lapras, so I don't need it, but I did have another Gyarados for Surf specifically. But my HM slut is Farfetch'd.
All right.
And with that, I had a quick question. Did it leave my brain?
Maybe.
Possibly. If you were to cast a person to play the movie of your life, who would be your casting?
Oh, God.
Mine is Michael Cera.
God, I don't know actors this well. Oh, God.
Who would you want to play you? It doesn't have to be a lookalike.
Oh, well, no, I just don't.
Close enough.
I don't.
That is a phenomenal question.
Gotta think on this.
I mean, the only movie that instantly came to my head was Project Hail Mary because I just saw it for a second time. But I feel like I definitely can't say Ryan Gosling. That would be crazy.
I mean, you can. You can. Marty Supreme just got played by Timothée Chalamet. If you look up what that guy looks like, it's not Timothée Chalamet.
That's fair.
Oh, I got mine. Tom Holland.
There we go. The mega cast.
That'd be good.
I'm going Andy Samberg.
It's on the jawline.
Andy
Oh, I
Samberg.
love Andy Samberg. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, one of the greatest shows
We
of
were
all
just
time.
we were rewatching that right before the episode.
That's my background music show now because it's so great. I put my girlfriend on it. She loves it. Yo, did you see it's coming back?
Yep.
Hype. I can't believe it. I'm so excited.
What a
Yeah,
time to be alive.
mine's Michael Cera, as mentioned before. Just because he's an
Fair.
awkward dude.
Okay, let me rephrase the question now. It's the same question, but it has to be a current RLCS pro.
I'm trying to think one with a big nose.
Hold on. I will hold on. I will amend my statement to people who are also talent. So,
I don't
like,
think CJ can do a
coaches-
good American accent.
I know. Dude, my first thought was CJ too. I was like,
It's like coaches, casters, talent.
like trying to think of like a good personality.
I think he may be too tall, but Garrett G.
That's a
He's
little
too tall to be me, but
A little tall.
Oski? No.
I mean, you guys are tall. You may work for you. You guys have that height.
No.
I am average.
Huh?
I'll
Wavy.
take Sathiu.
What?
I'll take Sathiu. I think Sathiu would be good.
I think he would be good.
Come on, give us a timeout. You do the Sathiu impression. Give us the tea.
Wavy?
Wait, do Wavy?
Wave your two-piece?
Could be one or the other. I don't know. You kind of maybe Red could be played by Ruas.
My poor posture.
It's actually just him in front of the lens the entire movie.
Actually, the right answer is Drafinho.
Draw.
It's like if I was really just, I should have picked a KBN Rocket League player. Okay.
Torsas, because he's oldest.
Yeah, he's around the same age as me, so there you go.
Shut the fuck off.
Because he's oldest and he's just not in our hemisphere of age. Damn it.
Gibbs.
Gibbs could be good. Gibbs could be good.
Okay. But I had to ask that. That's all I got, though.
That was a much better idea to keep it RLCS based.
Hey, it is a good initial question. But I think with that, it is time to wrap up for today. Huge thank you to Alyssa B and all of our other Patreon supporters for keeping the lights on. For those watching live on Twitch or listening later, don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, help us level up, help us improve the show. Tell a friend, share the show. Want to join the community, jump into our Discord, follow us on social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, or TikTok. If you want to rep the show, come grab some gear from our merch store at boostoverball.com. Thanks for listening, and as always, remember to choose Boost over Ball. See ya!
Thank you for listening to the Boost Over Ball podcast. Make sure to check out our website, boostoverball.com.